disgusting, vile people who have no sense of civility and were building a political career on top of this destruction because they were the anti-establishment.
Who are we going to replace politics with? With Delta? With Renan? With Bolsonaro? With Flávio?
It's with these people that we're going to replace politics. With Trump? Yeah, okay. All the anti-establishment people out there, right? There you go. I prove my point. There's the anti-establishment crowd running around everywhere. So, man, everything is politics. Everything is politics, of course, right? But there was this moment with Operation Car Wash in particular.
Let's remember that Delta, in those Operation Car Wash conversations, there was a moment when he said he wanted to build a monument. He suggested this to Moro. And then Moro, in a moment of good sense, said, no, I think we should leave that aside. That's a bit too much. They wanted to build a monument in honor of Operation Car Wash in Curitiba. And then there would be some fallen pillars and one standing pillar. The standing pillar was like Operation Car Wash, which was symbolized by justice or something like that. And the pillars, those Greek or Roman style pillars, from buildings, the fallen pillars represented the political system. What their monument celebrated was the destruction of the political system. Look at the insanity of this, man. You don't destroy the political system. If you have a plumbing problem in your house, Caesar, do you destroy the whole plumbing system? So you go there and fix the hole in the pipe that's causing the problem. You replace the pipe, you tighten it, you put some thread seal tape, whatever. Are you going to destroy the whole plumbing system? It's obvious that the government wants to approve the 6 for this now to get ready for the election. But the discussion to approve the 6 has been going on in the House and the Senate since last year. The Senate was the one that pushed this forward. And I even mentioned that at some points. I think that the Senate, given the current atmosphere, especially after rejecting Messias' nomination, will push this thing to be voted on in 2027 because they don't want to give Lula any electoral reason to use it in his campaign.
I totally agree. As an aside, do you think Lula will nominate Messias to the Supreme Court again?
They say he will, right? Now we have to see how strong Alcolumbre's support is.
Because that's how you get all of this, right? Because there are a lot of people who want Messias still.
No, because there too, they did some exploration and found out there's oil, but it's still at the very beginning. They don't know how long it will take to start operations. They don't know exactly how long it will take or how big the well is. How much investment is needed? How big the drill needs to be? When the money will start coming in? You get it? Now it's all just calculations, right? You get it? Alcolumbre, with this oil business over there, he's never leaving power again, guys. Okay? And let's make it clear here because, we don't beat around the bush here. Lula is giving him this platform because it's politics. Because it's pragmatic. Because he needs to get elected. Because the left alone in Brazil, since the end of the military dictatorship, has never managed to have a majority in Congress. And even when it runs alone in elections, it never governed alone. It always needed what we see there, which is the so-called coalition presidentialism. Are we going to say, do we like it? Do we not like it? Do I think it's the only way out? Is it not the only way out? Should we be more radical? Setting my own views aside, everyone can have their own, and it's a valid and fair debate, which we actually love to have, right? I'm just stating things as they are. That's how it is. What are you going to do? No. Am I going to pick a fight with Alcolumbre? Am I going to say something about oil or whatever? Then Messias won't get confirmed to the Supreme Federal Court. And that's just a taste. It's just the beginning. Next year, the Senate could change drastically. It could start having votes for impeachment, not just for Supreme Court justices, for Lula. Why not? I think so. Wow.
I think it's a very, very sensitive issue, especially if Bolsonarism makes up the majority in the federal Senate, even if Lula wins the election itself. Demori, is the TV campaign period about to start? And I want to hear from you. I'll bring in a piece by Daniela Lima here, which presents the strategies for this moment. Before that, I just want to interact a little with the chat here. I'll just briefly go through your messages and what you are bringing to the debate. But if Porcaro turned into this, Emerson says, it means that Faria Lima isn't all that great. Its control is due to the bought-out press. I have no doubt about it, Emerson. That's why it's not that Faria Lima isn't all that great. It's just that without a lapdog media system, you can't speak to 215 million people. What are you going to do? Are you going to set off fireworks with pamphlets like Marighella used to do?
Go ahead.
Right? You actually need a cohesive system. You need what for? What? Porcaro was saying that he was going to, quote-unquote, have Lauro Jardim roughed up, tell them to break the guy's teeth. And he was hiring every kind of blogger and influencer to attack Bassen at the time, because he knows how important the media is in the game he plays. Okay, so it's not that Faria Lima isn't all that. It's just that the power of the media brings a crucial dimension to this game, okay? If it weren't for that, media owners wouldn't make so much money. And that's why you only have billionaires who are men, white, straight, at least publicly, okay? In charge of these structures. Oh, but nowadays there's a whole process of diversity with indigenous people, for example, in soap operas, and black and mixed race men, and black and mixed race women presenting the news. Yes, that even exists, guys, but that's just cosmetic. That's aesthetic and cultural representation, okay? You're not going to have people who own the network. That's the point. Yes.
Okay, and even most of these people have really good colleagues, right? Aren't they? I'm not saying otherwise.
Even a lot of these people who are put in this position as a kind of, it's important, it represents, it shows, that also helps change the culture. We are not, of course.
If you put a black female anchor at the Jornal Nacional news desk, that helps. At least kids who are 13, 14, 15 years old will get used to the idea that, hey, this is a place for black people too. That's super. It's fundamental. But that's not what we're talking about.
Obviously.
But many of these people, when they get to these positions, also for personal reasons, to protect their job, to protect the position they're in, won't confront things and will do the same as the white people did before. It's not that it changes. It's true.
That's also true. I don't talk much about this in Tudo que a Luz Alcança, by the way. The script is about that, okay? Now, it's also true that we need to rethink the media model, because will it be in the hands of the state? No. Will it be in the hands of a family? Obviously, there will be all kinds of problems with the state. Yes, but it seems to me more plural and diverse than leaving it in the hands of a single family that has its own interests, that has another business, and today, who is in charge? The entire Brazilian media system. At least the hegemonic corporate media. The Marinho family, the Abravanel family, Macedo, Saad, Frias, Mesquita. Who else? Is there anyone else?
And the regional ones, right? Color used to be a powerhouse. Not anymore, right?
Isso.
Then the regional
Ratinho.
ones.
Ratinho que tem rádio pra tudo que é lado.
The Cunha Pereira family there with Gazeta do Povo, his partner who also bought the TV station there. His name is similar to Leminski, but it's not quite that. So the regional bosses and the big bosses, right?
It would be important for us to remember this name. We'll check it. We'll bring it to you tomorrow, okay? But that's it. It's not even 10 families. 215 million people in the second largest democracy in the Americas.
Tutinha, that's it.
Jovem Pan, you got it. That's it, okay? 10 families. There must be 10 or 12 families at most who control this whole thing. So then you can imagine that these people's ability to instill a certain mentality in 250 million people is endless. They run the country because of that, okay? Emerson,